Alrighty, hello everybody. How you guys doing tonight? It is Misfit Mining Saturday night, and we have a few different characters here. Although Hawk's been with us for the last few weeks, and Mining King is here, and we also are graced with the presence of Hobbyist Miner. Yeah, that guy. So, all right. Well, before we get into that, let's do a quick shout out to people. DJ Mines being first. Kyle Rogers, thanks for showing up. Triple D Innovations, appreciate you coming. Patrick Guyan, hopefully I'm pronouncing that somewhat correctly. Let's see who else. D Miners, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Georgie, and Hobbyist Miner was here. S Chang, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Automatic Beats. Couple regulars. Patrick I already mentioned. Canadian Miner. Brian Hollywood, thank you for showing up. Appreciate it. No sound. Hold on. Does excellent connection. Does excellent connection. Oh no, there's sound. I just unmuted the stream. And maybe he's trolling me because I trolled everybody else on Monday. I do. Oh, go ahead and talk. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, shoot. It worked in the other one. Hold on a second. Figured it couldn't go that perfectly. Here we go. I think this is the problem. All right, somebody talk. Why is it not? No, you're still not there. I do not know why. Hang on. Because you guys were in this before. I've got Discord too. I've got desktop audio. I've got all of them open. And that I'm hearing you in the headphones. Well, I have audio monitoring, but that's the question is, where is that? Hold on. Uh-huh. Okay, hold on. Let me do this. So yeah, I went to the gear and I go to, just properties, not advanced audio properties. Alrighty. Now talk.
Hello. Do you see bars up and down?
Let me turn that
down. Hey, Hobbyist Rescue.
So now I know what happened was I knew that I didn't want to have the speakers on because they would feedback through this mic and we'd get some echo and all that kind of stuff. So right before the stream, after we had tested everything, I changed to headphones. That's what caused it. So
all right, cool. So we can hear each other. Oh, you guys can hear
each other. Hey, it only took 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes.
We got you, girl.
Now, I'm sure Chum Change is over there going, yeah. But hey, Chum Change, notice something? I'm not backwards. Well, there you go. So
he was really excited to show that off. I'm not gonna lie.
Only been talking about that for like 15 minutes, and it took me a while to figure it out. But anyway, all righty. All right, let me finish. Chum Change, thank you for being here. Fudweiser, thank you for being here. Integra Guy, Murky Solution. I think I already said Automatic Beats. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Pocket Change, thank you for being here. And Tains, thank you for calling that out very, very early. And TPS Miner, thank you for being my first member. I appreciate that very, very much. Brian Hollywood. Max Vultures likes to hear himself so much he muted everybody else.
I like that answer.
Yeah, I do like to talk. At least that's what people tell me. So what have you been up to this week, Hawk?
Working on the board. That's what I did this week. And I impulse bought GPUs. Pretty much. I'm still waiting. So I finally Octominer shipped. I'm waiting on those. I'm really at a standstill until I get everything in. So like Just honestly, I've been working on trying to improve my videos. I've been getting constructive criticism from a lot of different people, and figuring out what to do with new content, stuff like that. Just networking, meeting people. Because right now, there's nothing for me to do until I get these cases in here. So I'm kind of at a standstill at the moment.
Got it. How about you, Mining King?
I've been doing a little bit of stuff. So I actually did a trade. If anybody watched that video, I did a trade with Panda for a mini Doge. Some people thought it was some people thought it was a good deal. Some people didn't. So I traded a 3070 Founders for a mini Doge. So first ASIC ever. Just testing it out a little bit. So I've been playing with that, and then I also got in, and this is what was in the box. Who was in my Discord? The little box was a A2000. So I got a PNY A2000. There's going to be some coins I'm going to try out that are not listed or they don't have any hash rate yet on what to mine. So I'm going to start testing some of those coins, start figuring out some profitability.
I don't necessarily think that trade's a bad trade. Dogecoin, the Dogecoin miner, it can mine Litecoin, can it?
Yeah, it merge mines. It does Litecoin and Dogecoin.
Right. So you have a 3070 that in a couple of months, who knows what it'll actually be able to mine. And then you have a Doge miner. Is it currently profitable?
So I've used 3 different websites like Minerstat and the ASIC, the other ASIC site. One of the sites says it's not. The other site says it is, but not profitable by very much, by like maybe 5 or 10 cents. So my plan is, it's a varying rate. So it's 11 cents during the day and 5 cents at night, and then I also have solar. So it it's really hard to figure out my electric from what it's really doing all the time.
But the hard part is the profitability is not a huge factor right now, because it's not like you're taking that Doge and selling it daily. So you can kind of write off the term profitable right now, and it's more like you're just building up your bags.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm kind of I wanted to have a few more things that I'm just going to plug it in, and I'm just going to forget about it. I'm just going to let it just stack up there.
Nice. Nice. How about you, hobbyist? What you got going on?
I finally got my Helium antenna installed after like 4 or 5 months in my attic, so I'm excited about that. Bumped it to an 8 dB, so we can chat about that more when we chat about more about Helium. But that's been exciting. Other than that, starting to get a little closer into my interest in Flux nodes. So that's been something different. And then I'd say over the last 2 weeks, I've bought about 15 different GPUs, and I keep telling myself to stop it, but you know how that addiction is. So yeah, we're building that up, and I can't look at the market right now and be like, well, that GPU is 1/3 the price it was. I'm gonna buy it. Click. So yeah, that's kind of where we are right now. So I am definitely taking the avenue of doubling down right now in the current dip.
Cool. Yeah, I have bought a little bit of stuff, but at the same time, I got some expenses and things with stuff going on, so haven't been buying too much on the dip.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I got going on this week is I have to change out fans on this GPU, which is a 3060 Asus Dual Mini. The Mini was the part I didn't really remember. So I bought the fans. I didn't really remember. So I bought the fans. Really remember. Wait a minute, I was getting some feedback through my headset. Apologize for that.
I thought that was on my side. I'm like looking around like what's unclicked and everything.
Because I was like, where is that coming from?
I think sorry.
So basically I figured out a way to get the fans off without actually taking the GPU apart. So I'd actually pulled this one out and then saw that actually the screws were actually underneath the fan. The ones on the end were like super easy. Here, let me actually show it. These two were like super easy. These two were not. They were way wedged underneath the fan. But I was like, if I had a 90-degree screwdriver, so I got one of these, came from Amazon today, and was able to get the get the fans off without taking the whole thing off. So that is a Phillips head, 1. Yeah, it's basically like the iFixit kit.
Yeah. Were you just looking to avoid having to do like paste and pads and stuff like that? Was that kind of your thought pattern?
Yeah, I was kind of like, this is actually my newest card, and it was fine. The temps are all fine on it. So I'm like, why would if I can get around it, why would I want to go through all that trouble? If I take it off, then I got to spend money on pads. The paste obviously it really doesn't cost much, but I thought, if I can avoid it, let me avoid it. And so I was like, it could be a useful tool in the future. So I thought, let's give it a shot. It was like $11. So yeah, it worked. It wasn't like the easiest thing to do, because you're not like really got to kind of press down and of course, for whatever reason, I'm going the wrong direction when I first started, so I'm tightening the darn thing instead of loosening it. So anyway, but yeah, and then I ordered these 2 fans, which everything fits. I'm like, okay, cool. Connectors are all right. Looks like the right size. Nope. Not the right size. I was gonna
say, I feel like there's a big butt coming in this conversation.
These are the fans. This is the one, and this one just basically wobbles. It stops really fast because it's wobbling. Here, hang on.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's shot.
How old's that card?
5 months. I mean, it's my newest card. It literally is my newest card. And probably not 5 months.
I have some that last a long time. Like I have some that have never been replaced, and they're over 5 years old. And then I have other ones where like a ROG Strix one I have, or like one of the fans is going already. Which, by the way, if anyone's ever looked at replacing the ROG Strix ones, to replace all 3 fans, $60. Like, and they actually sell them individually. Versus like being out, like, which is crazy. Like you have to like it's crazy to it. You don't want to buy all 3. It's like just do one. Yeah, so I've had some that last me a long time, and others that are don't last long at all. And now granted, I run all my fans at 100% all the time.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they stay moving, that really shouldn't wear them out too much. So I know a lot of people are say, don't run them 100%, whatever, but I'm like, it's more the speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. That's the problem. So most of my cards, almost all of my original 5700 XTs that are a year and a half old, the fans all work. I've got 1 gigabyte, imagine that, gigabyte fan that's going bad, and I actually have the replacement. I just haven't gotten around to replacing it, and that one I actually do want to repad and repaste, since it is a year and a half old. So I have all the pads and the paste and all that kind of stuff for it. It was kind of like, it's still running fine. It's not super hot, so I'm just going to leave it. And the fan is actually still running. It was really wobbling a lot, and then for some reason it just kind of went back to working. So I don't know. So as long as it works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm going to leave it for a while.
100%.
But yeah, I got to try to find these fans. There's a GPU fan replacement site. It's like $50 to replace it. So anyway, that's been my little project for the last couple of days. I originally was trying to order the fans, tried to uninstall the actual fans themselves, realized I couldn't do that last night, and then today I got the screwdriver and tried doing that and got it all off. I'm like, cool, I'll be able to put it in. No, they don't fit. So yeah, just so you can see how close it really is. You can see, I'm gonna hold it up. Let's see if I can.
So it's just off by a tiny bit, like the millimeter size.
It's
is just
by,
a tiny bit,
by less than a centimeter. It's off by about 5 millimeters.
Oh, gotcha.
Just a little too big.
Huh.
I'm sure some people were like,
I've definitely ordered a handful of fans, and I get it. I make the mistake, and they come in, and then I'm like, dang, that is definitely like I ordered the wrong thing, like 100%. Like I wanted 1070 Ti fans, and I accidentally ordered the 1070 ones. Like I have that, and so I mark the box and throw it in my pile, and I'm like, all right, I'll order another one, because it's like maybe I'll use it eventually. We'll see.
Well, that's one of the advantages of Amazon. I can just basically drive over a couple miles away to the Amazon Fresh and do a return. So these were bought from Amazon. but the other ones, Amazon does not have these fans at all. So I will have to unfortunately go out and buy it, and $50 for 2 fans.
Yeah.
Oh no,
I do
take it back. This one's
eBay
40,
and
actually.
Amazon, and I end up eating it a lot on eBay. Like some of the stuff on eBay is just like I get it in, and then like I got a PNY replacement fans that I got here, and I've installed them, and that was probably 3 months ago, and one of them's already bad. So it's like I get what I pay for, you know, $16. It is what it is. But I got other ones that last, so it definitely varies. What was the site that you were referring to? That was like a GPU fan site.
Yeah, I think it was called GPU fan replacement. Where was that?
Well, that's easy enough.
Hang on. I have to look amongst all my tabs.
Yeah, how many?
Yeah, there is a site
500.
called GPUFanReplacement.com. Okay, nice. Now
yeah,
I'm like
exactly. That's it.
sold on this.
GPUFanReplacement.com. That's exactly the one. It's actually $39 for this, and it is free
It looks like
shipping.
they have some stuff. They don't have everything. I'm like, I just went ahead and looked real quick, but it looks like they have a decent amount of the popular ones.
Yeah,
Shout
exactly.
out
And they have some of the not so popular ones like this one. So I was happy to see that. I looked at the connectors. Connectors all look like they're good.
Yeah.
You know, it definitely looks like the right product, which is good. It does say the fan dimension's 87 millimeters, when I think it's 90, but if they're a little small, that's fine too. Not a big
Got
deal.
you. I will say honestly, I have a rig of 12 470s and then another rig of 580s that are Sapphire Nitros. All the fan, I've replaced one fan, and I got those cards all old and used, and I've been mining on them for almost 2 years. So who knows how long the guy before that did it? I, in my time, have replaced one fan, and those are those quick connect ones where they just pop out, pop in, and you're done in about 10 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
Those are the best. Those are like when they say those are meant for things like GPU miners, like mining specific, like because they're mining specific cards, they absolutely are when you can replace it in no time.
Yeah, most of their fans I think are like that. Yeah, I've got a Sapphire Pulse, but I haven't had to replace a single fan of those in the year and a half I've had them. So definitely.
What about you, Hawk?
That.
What about you with replacing fans, huh? You know, just jump in. Feel free to interrupt.
Anything. I haven't replaced any fans. I haven't done anything yet. It's I'm
We'll
running
be there soon enough.
I'm running under the guise. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not going to replace any pads until I really need to and all that other stuff. But I am starting to get into. I did the other day with a 2070. I took it apart, cleaned it, trying to figure all that out for the first time. I actually took apart the GPU because Chump told me to get that iFixit kit. So I bought it.
Yeah.
Ended up getting familiar with taking the GPUs apart and all that stuff. So
Smart.
where I'm
Well,
at.
if you want a 5-hour long stream, I decided to dive in and do all these cards like a few weeks back, and oh my god, what a nightmare some of these cards were. Some of these cards are not meant to be opened. Like, God,
Right.
I'm gonna let it run hot moving forward. Some of those cards, and then I have other cards, and they come apart in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to figure it out because I know it's gonna. I'm just delaying the inevitable, so I'm gonna try to get it all together and understand how to do it and all that stuff. I just
Smart.
when you have a full time, you're full time somewhere else doing this. It gets a little hard to kind of mix everything in. Like I rushed over here to do the live with you guys, so I don't miss out for everybody. And it's like I got to go back and just go back and forth. But I make it work though. I make it work. So
Nice.
that's how it goes.
How about you, Mining King? Have you had to do a lot of fan replacement stuff?
So in the year and a half, almost 2 years, I've only had one fan die, just one. And
Nice.
what I decided was when I was repasting everything in the rig, anyways, just because, I just took the whole fan shroud off and I just took all the fans off that one card, and it just has the heatsink now, and I just let the Octominer cool it. So it stays okay. It's around 65C on the core most of the time. So
does it run hotter than your other cards in the Octominer?
Yeah, it does.
Interesting.
Well,
okay. I know some people have said, yeah, just take them all off. The Octominer will do all the work. But I was curious if anybody had put like some that had fans on them, some that didn't.
So it's the only one that's in my Octominer that doesn't have any fans, just the heatsink. Right. And the fin array is going with the flow of air.
That's nice.
So, but yeah, so most of my other cards are around like, I would say like high 50s, somewhere in there. And this one's like usually between, depending on time of day too, because I'm in Arizona. It gets hot out here, so 65, 68, somewhere around there. So it is quite a bit hotter than my other cards.
Interesting. Very interesting.
But I
appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I know I've got a Zotac that has the fins running that direction too, and I kind of debated on whether to just take the fans off since, hey, they'll probably die soon, because that's what Zotac
Is
fans
it
do.
the 3060 Ti Zotac?
Yep. But
Oh,
it was
it's a
one of the
nightmare. It's a card
originals.
from hell.
It was like literally one of the first ones I got in on one of their not queues, but just got in and bought on their site way back before they even did the queue system. So I got really, really lucky, and it was actually the first 3060 Ti that I got.
Okay.
So
Nice.
anyway, I just turned myself up. Do I need to turn myself up more?
I hear you fine.
I know you guys do, but they're saying on stream. So I will turn myself just up a bit more. So hopefully that helps a bit. Is that better, everybody? All right, cool. Kelman Mining says I'm good, so I will go with that. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about the merge. Yeah, some more interesting news this past week, which was had a little bit of some hilarious tone to it, where let's just say the devs, I think, were a little
Lost.
PO'd, angry at a miner for adding hash rate.
Oh, yeah, because of the testnet, yeah.
Right. So just to explain exactly what happened, and actually Tim and a few other people tweeted about this and explained it really, really well. But what triggers the merge is total terminal difficulty, which is the total amount of difficulty from the start of the blockchain, whatever blockchain it is, which, obviously Robston has its own blockchain, but it has its own terminal total terminal difficulty. TTD is what they refer to it as. So when somebody comes in and quadruples, quintuples the hash rate, driving up the difficulty, it makes you reach the total terminal difficulty on a really low hash rate blockchain really, really fast. So basically it was like zip, we're at the merge, and oh, oops, they don't have the beacon chain up yet for Robston. So yeah, they were not really very happy, and they're just like, you guys are just creating chaos, whatever. It's like, you know what? That's kind of, you have a system, and somebody decided to exploit the system to show what could be done. That's a good thing right now. That's a good thing. And to have that conversation come up before the mainnet, and yes, I agree, it won't be in effect on the mainnet, but bringing up things that haven't been discussed about possibilities and what could happen, it's not a bad thing. It helps people understand what's happening, how the merge is going to work. All of this conversation since then has been really, really good. Now, I had somewhat of an understanding about what was going to trigger the merge, but I have a much greater understanding because this happened, because everybody had to talk about it. So that's an overall good thing. I can't believe how triggered the devs were. I didn't watch the call, but I did watch a little bit of DJ's replay of it.
His
and
recap one. Yeah.
And he was talking about, they're talking about the miners in the chat. And so I didn't see any of that, but I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that they weren't very happy because it is requiring them to do a little bit more work. And yeah, well,
It's so exciting.
it's yeah.
He makes a boring conversation. He's just like, guys, look at this. Then he grabs his book and he goes, oh, they're so what a bunch of morons.
He writes it down and then he's like, what does that mean, guys? Anyone know what that means? I wrote it down, but I don't know what it means.
Well, it was funny. I was talking to him about this last night. He was like, I thought it was funny when he's like, what's Bellatrix? What's Bellatrix?
Yeah.
Is Bellatrix like in between Robston and it's not Sequoia. I forget what the last one is.
Oh, yeah.
And anyway, I'm like, no, Bellatrix is the beacon chain merge. There's like two different names. I forget. I think Paris is the name of the fork, I think, for for the actual merge, and then Bellatrix, I believe, is the beacon chain fork that needs to happen, something like that. Anyway,
he knew what Bellatrix was. He was asking what Paris was. Nobody had any idea what Paris was.
Yeah, well, he was asking about Bellatrix earlier in the call, and then a little bit later he was like, what's Paris? And I'm like,
got it.
Yeah, I don't know what Paris is. And there was actually somebody on the call that was like, Tim, what's Paris? so yeah, there's a lot of terminology that gets thrown around.
Yeah, I'm very surprised on the Ethereum devs mentality towards miners, because
for real,
it's don't bite the mouth that feeds you, and it's like the miners, you get a totally different feeling like looking at Ethereum and their dev team versus like I had the opportunity to chat with Daniel Keller this past week and talking about like the value of a GPU miner versus on a Flux network versus on the Ethereum network. And it's like, wait, the Ethereum network, like the miners have supported you for so long, and now it's like, okay, it's like that friend of yours that becomes like super famous or popular and then just leaves you in the dust and is like, screw you. That's exactly how you feel when you're talking about Ethereum. Like the elitist mentality and we're moving on type of thing, versus on some of these other coins, like they're all about proof of work and all about miners. And it definitely shows. And I think it's going to eventually come back to bite them in the ass with the mentality they have, like, yeah, great, Ethereum goes to proof of stake, but there's no guarantee profitability is going to go up. So now you have all these investors in Ethereum and things like that. And all of a sudden it's like, now Ethereum's, sub 2000. And is it going to stay that way? I mean, I don't see a reason for it to go up. So yeah, I don't know. It's just, it does not make me very confident or pleased from the Ethereum side of the world.
Yeah, I'm curious because I mean, right now you have a lot of miners that are talking about it. Yep. It's getting some publicity that way. And once it goes proof of stake, I'm not going to talk about it. What's to talk about?
Right.
Yeah.
It's an issue at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
unless the whole network crashes and it's like, see guys, we told you, you didn't listen. And then it's we talk about that.
Yeah. The thing that gets me is I don't even mind. We are service providers. I get it. Right. But at the same time, why talk down to us? And that's what bugs me is that it's happened to BBT a few times where he's just not taken seriously. None of the miners are when they raise a concern. Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, you're a miner? Oh, well, then we're not even going to listen to what you have to say just because you're a miner. And that is, in fact, I'm sure people will deny that, but that is in actuality what happens. Nobody's taken seriously. So, I
think it brings us together too, though, as a community, as a mining community. It's like, like it's if like it's like the devs are like the bullies in the school, and they pick on this one group of kids, and then the other group of kids goes and say, oh, okay, yeah, you don't like it, all right, and then we kind of all group together, like, can't break a stick in a bottle kind of thing. And I think as the mining community, if we come together and we all say, okay, we're gonna try to promote and move someone off, just like with the hash rate migration, right? Well, although it wasn't like a huge thing, but it did show that you can get enough people together to make a significant impact on a network, right? Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I think they're gonna. You don't, like you said, you don't bite the hand that feeds you, sort of thing. And without us, for the proof of work, consensus, obviously, their networks wouldn't run as they're supposed to run. So it's kind of like, hey, we need you, but stay on the ground. Don't move. Stay there.
Yeah,
don't.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Just keep doing what you're doing. We don't want to listen to you. We're going to ignore you. Just keep doing what you're doing.
And what they did to BBT, and I know we've talked about this before, is just calling them names. They resorted to name calling. The guy asked a legitimate question, was not disrespectful, and then they go, you're lame, you're this, you're that. I'm like, come on, bro, what are we? I mean, they already sound like a bunch of confused college kids on the call. And then, you're managing a $300 billion network. Act like it. Act like it.
Yeah, well, it won't be 300 billion very much longer. Let's be honest with you.
Oh, true.
The way the profits are going, throwing it to proof of stake, putting up a paywall with 32 Ethereum, it's I don't know. It's one of its kind, and at the end of the day, I think Ethereum is going to be a thing of the past as we move on. I mean, 5 years down the road, what's Ethereum?
Right.
Like, it's a shame. I don't know. You made your millions or billions, and now you just want to go ahead and bury the project. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe it's just me, but
they're
yeah.
making a lot about, this switch to proof of stake, but it doesn't do
Sure.
barely anything for capacity. And that's their biggest problem.
Yeah.
And there's others that are making a lot more headway in capacity. And, obviously those haven't been tested as much as Ethereum, but I don't know. Time will tell. We're in interesting times. There's a lot of good chains out there. And speaking of that, let's talk a little bit about Flux, because Flux had some announcements this week too. I didn't have a chance to watch your stream, but you want to give us the highlights?
Whoa. So he wants to talk about.
I watched it.
He wants to talk about Flux, but then he's like, I didn't watch your stuff, but let's talk about Flux. Can you give us the cliff notes?
I'll be honest, I didn't watch it either yet.
Hey, I know the 3 announcements, but you know more of the details. So, that's fine. I can just say what was announced, but I figured you're more closer to the source.
Sure, absolutely. So I met with I had a call with Daniel Keller on Tuesday before some of the announcements. So he was only providing so much of the details, which is totally understandable. But him and I talked about it airing on Friday, and the announcements happened, I think it was Wednesday. Or Thursday. So some really cool stuff. They're kind of starting to pave the way with Flux for proof of useful work. And for those of you guys that don't totally understand what that is, it's a huge thing for miners. Thing for miners. So traditionally with miners, you're just doing proof of work. So you're helping to support the blockchain specifically. But now they're going to be adding proof of useful work, which means that you're almost being given projects and tasks. So like they talked about folding. So it's very big in the medical field or in problem solving or calculations or simulations. They're talking about adding rendering to it. And they're also going to be expanding the hardware platform. So it's not just going to be like GPUs. It's also going to be CPUs or other methods of computing. So the nice thing is like I saw Rapid Mining in the chat. I know he's big into CPU mining. You're going to be able to use that on the proof of useful work network, which is awesome and huge. And at the end of the day, we as miners won't need to do anything different. It's going to be within the same architecture and lineup. We're just going to mine Flux, and it's going to do everything for us in that regard. And then we're going to be paid out in the same reward structure as well. But it just gives more to the value of miners. Like, hey, we got more stuff for you miners. It's not just X, which is really cool to see. So that was the first big one. We can chat about that, and then we can talk about Loomis. But thoughts on proof of use or proof of useful work?
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I mean, I've always thought about that. Like, you have all of these GPUs out there, and I had actually looked up, and there really aren't any that good of implementations other than folding at home, which you don't get paid for.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you have a resource that's of value that costs you electricity to run. Why isn't anybody taking advantage of this as a resource? And obviously, as all this hash rate comes off, it's this huge resource that's going to be just sitting there, not doing anything. And I think anybody that can take advantage of that computing resource is golden in my mind. And I'm really happy to hear that they're moving forward with this. And, new subscriber. Thank you very much, Mr. Harry Lasagna. Okay. Got it.
Whoa. I like how it covers Hawk's face, by the way. The only person's face that gets covered with that alert.
Oh, another Hawk troll. Oh man. 2 streams in a row.
He's got this stupid thing right above. Bro,
I know, right? Max, put it in the middle.
He's on my case. He's on my case.
I know, right?
I like the attention. I'm all right. I'm cool.
So with the use of
proof of useful work.
Proof of useful work. So pretty much they're going to be actually using our compute power is what you're saying, pretty much, instead of just mining.
Yeah, it's almost like taking a supercomputer. Like that's kind of what they're stepping into, which is, I think, is a phenomenal idea.
Right.
Some of this is very relative on like Web 2 and with AWS and Azure, where they have gaming platforms. Let's say you can game in the cloud, quote unquote. Cloud isn't really a real thing, but on top of that, this allows you now to take it to the next level. So now you're able to start using that moving forward with all these other types of things. So they've partnered with some university group in Switzerland to start launching these and actually like taking off with this to allow them. So like, like you hear back in the day where like Harvard or Yale had a giant supercomputer the size of like a building. Well,
Right.
now these universities are just going to contract the Flux network to do these for them. So it's like, hey, we need this simulation run. Well, great. It runs on the Flux network, proof of useful work. We need this rendering finished. It runs on there. We need, when they were looking early on COVID and finding, vaccines and antibiotics, whatever it was, they could have used this type of network in order to run simulations and stuff on it. So, yeah, I think it's phenomenal. I mean, having a true use for what we're doing, I think is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was looking into their proof of useful work, and then the way it was explained to me, like you said, it's kind of just making one giant supercomputer using everybody connected to the network, which I think is great. I mean, when it comes down to utility and stuff, I mean, my question is just like, what, from a mining perspective, when you're doing that, what are the payouts like? You know what I mean? What do you get compensated for? And that's a good. I mean,
they haven't announced anything yet regarding that. Like if it is a different structure and stuff like that. Yeah, I know he was holding some of that close to his chest when I was talking with Daniel Keller.
Right. Yeah. Well, of course, I did watch it. I watched it. Just saying for the record.
Thanks, Hawk. I'm glad I got one viewer, guys. Yes. Woo!
All right,
hey, Mom, I'm famous.
But it's pretty cool that you got the interview with him, and I thought it was very well put together. And
thank you.
So. And you were hitting him a little hard there too. Like he was like, "Oh man, this guy is like asking me everything I want to say." It was pretty good.
Oh yeah, it was, dude. He would have talked forever. To be honest with you, I mean, he was a really cool dude. He had like no like, hey, I only got 30 minutes. These are the. He was like, you're good. He's like, we got all the time in the world. So very down to earth, which was awesome.
Yep.
And then
he definitely comes across that way.
Second one. Yeah, and then the second big announcement they had made was Lumens, that they had partnered with Lumens, and this is kind of big. This is very much a step. Like if you think of like your Azures and AWS, this is kind of their step into that world. So imagine taking those types of cloud computing, which isn't decentralized. So like you go with AWS, and a lot of you guys in the tech space know, like when Azure AWS has an issue, everybody feels it, and a million different sites affected. I mean, if you go to downdetector.com and you look on there when AWS is having issues, there's like 10 other platforms that are having issues, and oh, you run on AWS. I see that now. But this is now taking that, and as Daniel had explained, it's like we're picking up some of these Web 2 platforms, partnering with now their Web 3, and on their platform, which ends up being decentralized, which means you're not going to run into this as often, and running with it. So that'll be pretty crazy to see moving forward. Almost AWS and Azure almost becoming obsolete as the years go on because of that.
Well, good, because like everybody's there, and it's if AWS goes down, like you said, all these websites and all this stuff goes down. You need it. That's what the whole Web3 and that decentralized computing is, and I think it's very important to have that. So, my opinion.
Yeah.
I want to thank At Home Crypto Miner for being a new subscriber. I appreciate it. I think having it where I have it so that it goes over Hawk Miner's face is getting me more subscribers.
Nice. All right, everybody. We don't want to see Hawk's face the entire rest of this video, so please go ahead and subscribe.
Just awful. He gets me in StarCraft too. He trolls me in StarCraft. It's awful.
Nice. I like it.
Anyway, and then they had one other one is they also did they announced the replacement for Luna. They announced Atom as the new parallel asset to replace Luna. So hopefully that will separate Flux from Luna. Obviously they had some. I think they kind of went down, in my opinion. They went down as low as they did because of their association with Luna. And now that they've kind of parted ways, it looks like from Luna, at least for the time being, hopefully that will help bring Flux back. I mean, I'm super excited about the project. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. I've been looking at some of the comments that are being made, you know, when people are trying to run nodes on Flux, the first month goes great. The problem is there's no like auto renewal. You have to go in there and like start it all over again after the first month, is what I've heard a lot of people say. Now, I'm guessing that there's probably a way around that, but it's not obvious for somebody. And I haven't been able to find anywhere where it's documented. So I wanted to do pre-search nodes on Flux, but I kept hearing, no, you really don't want to run it on Flux, because once you run it, you know, you have a trust score that you develop with pre-search nodes. And then after that first month, it goes away, and then you have to basically restart it again, and then you have to build up that trust score again. So that's not really the best way to be running a pre-search node. So now I'm kind of rethinking that as far as exactly how I would do that. But
yeah, I'm going to have to, when I get my Flux node up, my first one, I'm going to have, if I run into that same thing, I'm going to have to hit up Daniel on that and message him directly and be like, hey, am I missing something? Because that doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right that you have to go in and touch that thing monthly, which is really odd to me.
Yeah, it is. And running, so when you say you're running a pre-search node on Flux, you're not running it on your Flux node, you're just running it on Flux. It'll be on somebody's Flux node. I actually had a pre-search node on my Flux node for a little while. It's not there anymore, but yeah, it's kind of cool that you can look at your node to see like what else is running on it. See what kind of services that it's providing. So
it's nice, there's transparency there. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Rabid Mining, I don't want to change the subject, but Rabid Mining just asked, you know, what's with Luna 2.0? What do you guys, you know, Max, you go first, Max.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of proposals and things like that. I'm kind of just taking a wait and see approach. I don't have any Luna, so I don't have any skin in the game. But you know, as an outside observer, it is very interesting that there are a number of proposals that are being made. Some that are trying to actually save Luna itself. A lot of people have basically said Luna is not savable, but yeah, you know, the last time I saw it was like Luna 2.0 was, well, if you had Luna at this time, we're going to start this new coin. You're going to get, you know, like a third of your value back. So you're not going to get it all back, but you're going to get something back. And then we're going to peg to that. And I don't know. I'm kind of just on the outside looking in on this whole thing.
This reminds me of Ravencoin Lite. And when they went ahead and like renamed and remarketed and everything like that. And then like, what was the other? It began with an A. It was like a teal looking logo.
Avian,
yeah. And then they moved to like Avian type of deal, and it was like Ravencoin Lite had some hype for about 2 weeks, and then after that, like everything occurred, and then all of a sudden, bam, moved to Avian, and it was like a fraction of the hype around it, fraction of the value. It's just like, unfortunately, when you've gone down this path so far with Luna and how abysmal it was and everything that happened, it's like close that book, and it's time to move on. And then look into other projects and stuff like that. Like the amount of money and time and effort is really rough.
Now, the one thing I should, you know, a lot of people are really down on Luna. And honestly, basically what happened was there was a run on the banks. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was a run on the banks. People lost trust and just did a run on the bank. And because of that, the mechanism to fix that was to create more Luna. Which honestly, if there was a run on the banks, what do you think they would do? They'd create more dollars. It's
sounds like the U.S. government.
Let's go. I mean, it would happen to any system where there was a run on the banks. So I don't know. It was an unfortunate set of circumstances. I'm not saying it couldn't have been foreseen. It just was highly unlikely, but it happened. So, and there was no control to stop, to slow it down. And I think if they had a system in there to slow it down, like if you had something like, you know, the stock market has, you know, you have a certain amount of down, they'll pause the market for a period of time and then let it start back up, allow people to kind of have some sanity. If they had something like that, some stopgap measures, it may not have happened. But again, this is crypto. They kind of just want things to play out.
The first time I saw the actual pause of trading was when AMC pumped from $6 to $77 or $78, and I remember watching it like stop. I'm like so excited as I'm making this money, and it's like it stops, and I never saw that before, so I panicked. I was like, "What is happening? Why is it stopping? Like it's gonna go over $100," and they kept stopping it, and you could just see the volume start to go. I've
It
only
just shows the volatility of crypto.
Right.
Like it just shows like it's good and bad, because like there's so many people from outside perspectives and investors that are very uncertain to getting into the crypto market because of the volatility, because of the lack of backing on things. And then that type of stuff happens, and it just unfortunately does look bad for the crypto mining community. Like from an outside perspective looking in, it doesn't give us any more points on the board. Let's be honest here.
Yep. Very true.
It really doesn't, especially now. The SEC chairwoman, well, I gotta look on my phone what her name is. I posted it.
I know exactly who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
you're
Short
talking
little
about.
lady with like a short hair. Yeah.
Yeah, she looks like she's got like 9 cats in her house. She wants now
Yep.
she get to say, she goes and she says, well, the UST collapse means that we really need to start regulating it. And it's just like, guys, like we're all in the same community, whether you're creating a coin, you're running a pool, you're a miner, whatever. Like, yo, come on, chill. Like, I don't know.
Well, the U.S. government wants to, quote, regulate it in order to protect the American investor.
It's always
and
under
it's
the
like, wait.
That's
you don't
why
need to
we're
protect anybody.
Yeah.
Like our government is, the U.S. government is terrible with money. Why are you trying to come and try to protect us on our investments? It's like no one holds my hands when I go and want to buy anything. And so it's like, drives me nuts.
Devil's advocate, though, regulation could, I mean, listen, it just depends on the regulation, right? Now, I remember Max was telling me something about this. Regulation could actually end up being a bullish thing,
Correct.
like, because if you regulate, then, institutional money and comes in, and it could boost the value of these coins if they remain, like if for example, like if it gets regulated, right, and the institutional money gets behind Flux, well, we're mining it, and it's going to drive the value up, and it's going to drive the profit up for us. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a give and take. Like, what kind of regulation? Is it going to be like the stock market? Is it going to be, is it going to be heavier than what's in the stock market? What are the rules? It's so many questions. You can't just say regulation. Everybody
it's a very big generalization, but at the same time, the U.S. government doesn't have a great track record when it comes to regulation being light. We're just going to regulate it a little bit.
You give them a little bit.
Yeah.
You give them a little bit, they're going to take a lot. They will take a lot.
And I don't necessarily like that thought either, because I hate that when it's like, well, if we give them a little bit, they'll take a lot in any issue. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, okay, let's listen to what is actually being proposed. And right now, they don't know. They have a committee formed and they're trying to figure it out. So I give them credit. At least they're trying to learn, because we've heard congressmen and women talk about crypto and they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
No, it's a generation thing. It's a generation thing.
Dude, I'm part of that generation.
Max, no. They are older than you. Let's be honest. Half those people have walkers and canes. Let's be honest here.
Me and King were talking about this last night late. We were up late talking about it on Discord. And it's you got an invite. Well, you listen, bro, you big money, bro. I don't know.
What? Get out of here.
No, but seriously, all jokes aside, you got people like Senator Elizabeth Warren, who's probably pushing in her 70s, okay? Probably can't even turn on a computer correctly. No disrespect. I'm just giving you this. That's the generation that is you're trying to regulate new stuff. You need younger people. And I said this a lot, and I repeat this a lot, but it's like when I met with the governor of Florida recently, and I asked him about crypto mining and all this other stuff. And he's in his 40s. Like, he's like, oh, I'm all for it. We're trying to bring miners to the state of Florida. We're accepting Bitcoin in the state of Florida for payment. I'm like, all right, cool. But you go ask Nancy Pelosi, now crypto's a scam and this and that. And Warren Buffett getting on it saying it has no value. They're dinosaurs. No disrespect, but they're dinosaurs, and they're not going to understand new tech. Go try to show your grandparents how to operate an iPhone. See how that works. I'm just saying, like, let's just call it what it is. It's a generational thing. They don't understand it, so they're afraid of what they don't understand. They see it as a threat. It's just human behavior. It's human nature. It's psychology.
Well, I hear what you're saying. There are definitely people of that age that are, and I always say the way you stay young is you stay curious. You're always constantly learning throughout your life.
Look at it.
And so no matter what your age, But I will give Elizabeth Warren a little bit of credit in the fact that she's trying to learn. She still doesn't know what she's talking about when it comes to crypto, but she's at least putting two sentences together about crypto that actually make a little bit of sense, as opposed to most of the others that have no clue. So she's got a long way to go. The others have way further to go. And it also depends on who they're listening to as well. So they can understand something and know that that's good or bad, or make an opinion on whether something is good or bad when it's probably not either. It just is and could be either. So anyway.
Well, Jack Dorsey, Michael Saylor, these guys, I think Tim Biko sent one too. They all sent letters to Congress saying, "Hey guys, here's I know we spoke about this before, but just to refresh everybody's mind, they sent letters to Congress about it, because there's all the energy consumption and all that other stuff, trying to get them to understand it. New York was trying to pass a 2-year moratorium. Did I say that correctly? On banning.
I heard about this.
Right? They tried to do that. And then it was very ironic. They sent the letters, and a week later, after the letters were sent to Congress, they killed it. They said, okay, it's not what we really think. And I did a video on just like the energy consumption part alone, and it's just complete BS. It's they don't understand, and go ask. And Bits actually talked about this too. Like when I was talking to him about it, he said that there's a lot. He always tries to educate, rather than slam. You know what I mean? Don't slam. Like, okay, you're like Warren Buffett. I think Warren Buffett needs to talk to a lot of these people in the industry, so he can understand it more and understand that what it's backed by and what gives it its value and all this other stuff. Instead of getting on a forum in front of thousands of people saying, "Don't buy this because it seems like a scam because I'm too stupid to understand." I mean, it's really what he's trying to say.
Yep.
Well, so I have a little bit of experience with this. So like, when I talk to my financial guy, right, who's also my dad's financial guy, I asked him, hey, what about, crypto and crypto mining and all of this, right? He came out, when he was down here one time, he came out and see my GPU farm in my garage. And the main thing is it's all risk. There's no like security backing to it whatsoever, but that's what everybody wants. But the problem with that though is if you give them a little bit of control, that goes against what crypto is though. That's what makes it valuable.
Exactly. It's not the US dollar.
And the other thing is like the reason that they want to put this in there, I think is because there's been people who have put money into projects where the rug's been pulling out right, and they get ripped off or whatever. But here's the thing is you do not have to invest. That is your choice to do that, right? Yep. You know that it's a high risks, very volatile market. It's all up to you. You don't have to do it. No one's making you do it. And if you don't want to be a part of it, then don't be a part of it. But freedom. I think if you bring regulation, I think it's going to be bad because that goes against what crypto is as a whole.
But is it going to work? Is the question. Is it going to really work? Like, okay, so China, for example, China banned crypto mining. They're still holding the majority of the hash rate. Is it really going to work? Like, are you really you're gonna ban it, okay, or you're gonna regulate it, okay? I mean, it's decentralized. You're never gonna get rid of it unless you shut down the power and the internet at the same time all over the world.
But here's the thing.
Don't put it past China.
This is what is what I say about a lot of things our Congress does, and that is define the problem. Define the problem. Okay, you're doing regulation. What problem are you trying to solve?
Right.
That's it.
The reason that they don't like crypto mining and crypto in general is because your wealth can change overnight, right? You could put like 10 grand in a crap coin, and then the next day you wake up, you got like $1 million. They don't want people having long-term generational wealth, in my opinion.
Sure.
That's why China shut it down.
Come on now.
Listen, if you look at it, and again, not getting political here, guys, but if you look at it, there's only one side of the political spectrum that really is against it. I mean, do your own research, find out, but it seems to be only the left that's complaining about it because you got guys like the right who get on, like, what's the senator from Texas? Ted Cruz gets on and says, I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I buy a little bit every week. That's exactly what he said. So
good for him.
Then you got the governor of Florida saying, I'm trying to bring the mining companies to Florida and work with energy companies. And you got the governor of Texas inviting all those people from all over the world, come to Texas, because they're helping with the grid over there and all that other stuff, the investment. So, I mean, it's like everything else in the country. It's going to turn into a political argument, and it's just going to be, and that's it. And you know what? Eventually, I think that with everything going on in the country right now, I just think that we might get lucky. It might slip down the cracks. You know what I mean? They might forget all about it. I'm serious. Like
with all the energy hike costs right now that are kind of coming throughout the U.S. Any of these states that are doing incentives for these farms and stuff like that, I think are very smart.
Right,
it's very smart to kind of incentivize that, which is I think is a really good call. It's like, okay, we're going to take this situation and we're going to capitalize on it. And it's a great avenue to go. I mean, if you have, especially in situations like, can use someone in your hawk, like someone in your situation who has a dedicated space, a business operating around it. Can you benefit from that? That's huge. That's absolutely huge, especially with like the way that electric costs are going and stuff like that. So it should definitely be interesting. You had talked about institutional investors and stuff like that. I think one of the steps we need, which is I know is teeter-tottering right now in the US, is to allow an EFT to step in with allowing that with crypto.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get to that point in the US, I think we've then kind of gone over that hill, and now we're starting to go down that avenue. But I know a lot of big investors have held off until we get to that point where they're able to do that. So I think that'll be a huge step for us in the US, because just as you said, like regulation is a good and bad thing. Like regulation pushes us forward, but then also ties our hands as well. So it's unfortunately it's a double-edged sword.
Just depending on what, it's so many questions. Like,
oh yeah,
it's so many questions because guys like, listen, I just got into mining it's probably about 6 months ago now, and I got a lot of money invested. And I was me and King had these conversations last night where it's like one of our biggest fears is they come in and they just strike it down, and then now what?
Oh, yeah.
Can I make a little bit of my money back from selling all the GPUs and equipment I have? Maybe. But like,
good luck.
I don't know. It's
Well, by the way, I think we beat this subject to death, but it was pointed out that I am the odd man out here. I don't have a beard.
Yep, bearded.
Get on it, Max. Get on it. You look handsome.
I had a beard. I had a beard at the beginning of the pandemic, and then had enough,
nice.
and then shaved it off. So you have to understand. So Mining King's a little gray, but not much. Mine is like the whole body. I don't look as old as I am until I grow a beard, and then the bottom part of my beard is just gray. The sides are mostly brown, but there's a little bit of gray, and it kind of just blends down to the bottom, which is.
So he wanted
gray.
to jump from politics to talking about beards. All right,
I'm just going with what the chat said. That's all. Somebody pointed out I was the odd man out, and I was like, wait a minute, why am I the odd man out? Oh, yeah, okay, because I don't have a beard. Okay, that's good.
Did you see that YouTube wanted to incorporate NFTs with videos? Did you see that? The CEO
I did not. I'm not surprised. I mean, they'll sell NFTs for anything now. It's really stupid.
They want to be able for the content creators to sell their videos as NFTs or something like that. Don't quote me on it, but something she was saying, she was talking about it, and I'm just like, oh, geez. So like we're gonna get into that now. Like, can we fix the monetization?
Does that give you profit sharing on that because of that video? Like,
how about we fix problems first? Like not be able to somebody on your mobile, or fix the monetization and bring it up to date with YouTube before we start diving into everything else.
Yeah, agreed.
My opinion.
So actually I had forgotten. I know Altered Component I don't see, or I don't see ties in here either, but thank you very much for the stickers. They are already on my board, although you probably can't see them very well, but yeah, it's populated. Oh, and I did finally get the updated chump change and pocket change stickers. So
I just got it in today.
Oh, what did they update on them?
What was that?
What was updated on him?
Oh, the chump change I had is original, where he didn't have feet or legs. The new one has legs.
Priorities.
Yeah, priorities.
I like it.
Because he's like, wait a minute, what sticker do you have?
This third one right here is the new one. It's got like that reflective color coding thing.
Okay.
I did get Alter Component in today. I got Teaspoon in,
Nice.
TPS, Mining King. Sorry, bro, it's a little crooked. I'll fix it. I promise.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's like the holographic one.
Yeah, there you go.
Think of the name. Jesus, God, I sound so.
You know, the one sticker I don't have is I don't have
You
Red
don't have
Panda
mine.
sticker.
You don't have mine.
I
either.
don't have a Red Panda one either. It's okay.
Okay.
I
don't
give
have
him
mine.
hell all the time because
Oh,
he tries
dear.
to send me stuff and always gets damaged and shipping, and then I never get anything. And so I'm like, yep, like you're a liar. You just don't like me. I see how it is.
I sent him one weeks ago. He says he still hasn't got it. I don't know if it's got something to do with international. I got to resend
It
it.
can take some time.
Yeah, it definitely
Sometimes
takes some time.
stuff going from Canada. Yeah.
Yep. Good old
Yep.
Canada. All right, let's transition into talking a little bit about helium, because there has been some things happening with helium, and I don't know about you, hobbyist, but one of my helium miners is doing really, really well. One of them's doing okay, and the other one is still flatlined. How's yours doing the last 24 hours?
Well, first off, King or Hawk, do you guys have helium miners?
Yes, it's in a box.
Yes, I have a
In a
helium
box.
paperweight. I have yes, it just sits there and does nothing.
King convinced me to open it and connect it. Like
Nice.
So
Now's the best time to set it up, honestly.
I am gonna probably set it up now because I did see that you talked about it the other day, and profit something was better, and I did get the antenna like you have.
Nice.
So it's just in my closet. I haven't done it yet though. I mean, I'll do a
Yeah.
video.
Do you have the ability? Can you mount that on the rear side of your building?
I can put it on the top. So I have a loft directly above my
Awesome.
office is a loft, and
Yeah.
I can just climb up there and maybe run it through the hole of the where the AC goes out.
Yeah,
You
I was gonna say that'd be great. Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that would be really cool. So for mine right now, so it was really interesting. So the same day or two that they went ahead and made the latest update, Max, with the light miners
Mhm.
added, is when I upgraded to my 8 dB antenna. So it hasn't updated on Helium Explorer yet. It's still showing the same DBI, which is the stock 2.3 that you traditionally get with those antennas. But what I have seen, I gotta wait for that to all update. That's why in my video I'm like, I'll check back in 3 weeks.
Wait a minute, hang on a second. Did you actually change it on your helium miner? You have to actually-
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, within the settings. Yeah.
Oh,
within
okay,
the
got
settings,
it.
Yep. But what I am seeing is my average beacons have gone up a ton. In the last 7 days, it's gone up 127% when it comes down to my beacons. Now I don't know if that's because of the network changes or if that's because of the new antenna. And my witnesses have doubled in the last 3 days.
Wow.
So I don't know if that is, it's just timing, like when I did the video and the update, stuff like that. So we'll definitely have to see where that comes about. But I mean, profitability is all over the place. I mean, I started Helium back in November when I actually got it from DJ Mines. DJ Mines had gotten 2 because that's when you could get 2 from like MNTD. And I was trying to get one and he sold me the second one he had gotten. And, but that was awesome. When that hit, I was making $15. I remember I told Max too that day, $15.50 a day. Better than a graphics card then.
Right.
And so I put aside a ton of helium then. And then as the days have gone on, it's gone down to the point that if I look at 14 days, so a 14-day snapshot, I made $22. So from $15.50 a day down to 22 total in 2 weeks. Now, granted, I made my money back already, and that was back when I first got it. I mean, I made that $400, whatever they cost, back pretty quick. But unfortunately, we just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm the same way. So actually, I did look at both of my miners that are off-site from here, and they're both flatlined right now. So yeah, I'm not real happy about that. I will probably.
Mining King's over here laughing at you. Look at that.
Yeah, but my one at my house, on the other hand, that one's doing well.
Red Panda's in talking about StarCraft, Max.
Yeah, we're gonna do some StarCraft.
Yeah, we'll
get
there. We'll get there.
But anyways, so I'll just chime in and put my piece on helium. I hate it.
Love it.
I hate it. It's ridiculous. I bet You probably had to do the helium dance, hobbyist, to get that thing to make you some money. I've mined for over 2 months. I've made 80 cents. I've made like nothing. It's garbage. You can't.
The
tune
challenge
it.
is
You
that
can't-
people expect. People see the hard part is like you're coming from a GPU miner's perspective, and unfortunately, a lot of people put this in that bucket, and it's entirely not. Like at the end of the day, it's entirely not. Like what makes this mining is just the fact of like you're participating in a network and you're being paid out into crypto. Like it really shouldn't even be called like helium mining at the end of the day. It really shouldn't be, because it gives this mentality where it's like, wait, what? I don't know what you would categorize this as, but it's like it really, mining should be nowhere near this project. The word mining should not be there.
Yeah.
And they just jumped on board to like, oh, so you're going to participate in helping us spread out our network. Awesome. We'll pay you in this crypto. It's the same thing with like, as Hawk had talked about with like, oh, YouTube wants to get into NFTs. Everybody wants to get into NFTs right now. Like it is just the buzzword right now. It's the movement that's going on. And so unfortunately, if you were to look at this and remove mining from it, Mining King, like I feel like it would be like a, hey, would you like to participate in this network? And there's a chance that you could get paid out in crypto. I mean, I got people in my Discord. I have a Helium channel in my Discord, and they're like, I want to get into helium mining. How do I know how much money I'm going to make? And I'm like, are you a GPU miner? Yep. Sorry, there's no calculator. What do you mean? There's no website I can go to that tells me exactly how much I'll make based off my location? Nope.
There is a calculator, though, on the app. And if you calculate...
What does it say, 0?
When it says my ROI, it says like 900 months. It's so terrible. No, I'm doing a trade for a GPU, so it's going to Chile. So
one thing I have noticed is if you have a ranch home and it's inside, which that's basically my other two miners that I have off site, those are they don't do very well. Also, if you don't have, it all depends on what you have around you. You know, I know that you have something relatively close, Mining King, but not really that close. So I'm thinking you probably having trouble getting to those, or maybe those really aren't live. They were live at one point, but maybe they're not live now. Yeah. There's, again, when you're talking about RF propagation, there are a lot of variables of whether or not you're actually going to hit the other site, especially if you have it inside a home or whatever. The one I have in my house is on a window on a second story, and I'm at one of the highest points of our town. Now, I'm not saying it's mostly flat, but my point is that I'm certainly not looking up at anything. So that makes a huge difference. Same thing with the one I have at my sister-in-law's. That one's on top of a hill. So even though she's in a cinder block home, she has it sitting right next to the window, and because she's overlooking a lot of area, she does pretty well. I don't know what's going on with the miner right now because it was doing well. Probably just needs to be unplugged, plugged back in, or she might have a problem with her network connection. Either or, there's an issue going on there. She's not home, so it is what it is. And my in-laws, though, it's on a first floor. There's nearby. They basically hit the nearby hotspots, but nothing very far. Nothing more than like 3 or 4 miles away. So it does okay. But neither one of those is ideal. It was kind of an experiment, and we'll see what I end up deciding to do with those.
I'm still waiting on
what are you waiting on?
my Bobcat. It's been almost a year. Like,
screw that. Yeah, not happening.
They sent me an email back in December, because when they came out in like, what was that, March, I got on the wait list. And then, like, I didn't hear anything until, like, December. They sent me an email. Hey, you want your money back right now? And I'm like, yeah, just give me back my money. I'm fine with that.
There's no reason. Any company that takes your money but can't provide a product is a scam. You're providing the upfront money for them to now purchase the manufacturing to make those products. It is entirely a scam. Mm. Do not buy anything from any company out there in the mining industry at all, or any industry, where you pay them and they can't give you a deadline date. All you're doing is you're an investor. You're paying their manufacturing costs. It is ridiculous.
If they come at you that way with you know, what's the, you know, where they have these seed websites where you basically can buy a product, that's fine. That's up front. hey, this is a brand new product. We don't know exactly when it's going to come out. Here's the target date. You know, manufacturing, ship, logistics, all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you think that it's going to come out on the exact date that they say it's going to, but that's different. That's totally different. These guys came out and said, you're going to get it on this date. We have them coming in, and used every excuse in the book. I know there were logistics issues. I get all that. Then give the money back.
Now I'm going to check.
That's why I went with MNTD originally, like when I was first interested in it, because at that time, now this was some time ago, at that time, they were the only helium mining company then manufacturer that literally was selling what they had in stock, which was like a traditional e-commerce website. But prior to that, you had people waiting a year and a half, 2 years for these products they purchased. And it was like, oh, helium's coming out. And then they're like, great, we're going to literally, I think some of these people literally paid for the R&D costs for these products to be developed. Because they got in, they're like, oh, I've been waiting a year and a half. It's like, dude, you paid for the R&D for them to develop this product. And then it went ahead and launched. And that was one of the reasons why I got into it. But I try to tell people too with helium, it's like helium is entirely a spec project. It's speculation. You're getting in on something and you're hoping someday it does super well. Right. It is, treat it like these ASIC miners, guys, where it's like some of these ASIC miners like Starcoin or Handshake, or all these other ones. Like I got a few of those there. I can't see it. What's it say? It just looks white.
It's just all white for us, Hawk. We can't read it. You have to tell us what it says. It's really small. What's it say, Hawk?
You can't see it? Oh man,
I mean, you can't read it. It's not full screen.
I want my money back.
Oh yeah. It's honestly, like there are a few sites that I've partnered with that literally carry them now. Like the one I got, the SenseCap miner, the M1. I wish I would have gotten that one originally. That was one of the ones I did a video on not too long ago. That thing is legit. Like you can see that you can access the heat sink in it. You can access the fans in it. Like it's pretty cool. But now, like, what happened was helium was like got really talk of the town over the last year and a half. Everybody and their brother manufactured these things. Now all of a sudden they're everywhere. Like you can get them anywhere and everywhere. So when Bobcat's like, we don't have them in stock, it's like, wait, what? Everybody's got helium miners in stock now. How do you not have them?
Yep.
So yeah, don't waste your money.
Yeah, MNTD, they came out with the last one. Okay, we got them for sale. We're gonna roll them out, and they still have them for sale. This last rollout.
Yeah, they're entirely on sale because the craze is over.
I just think that they're going to be, they have to do some kind of price discovery to make those helium hotspots even remotely profitable again.
Well, because there's too many profitable. They are profitable if you're in a good location. If you're in a good location. Now, remember,
listen,
it's only
when you live
5
in the middle
watts,
of nowhere,
5 to
what do you
10
expect?
watts. It's 5. So again, the definition of profitable is that you're making more than the cost of your electricity. If your cost of electricity is almost nothing to run the thing, you're profitable. You're not as profitable as it was.
So hey, in the past week, I've tried to restart that helium miner and get it just to show up so I could finish my trade with Chili. I've worked on that thing more than my own mining rigs because they're just doing their thing. Yeah.
All right. So here's what I recommend you do. I recommend you factory reset it. You take out the SD card, you wipe it, and you put the new ROM on it. You plug it in, and you go and you move forward that way. And I bet you that fixes your issue. You haven't replaced your SD card, have you?
Yes, I have. Yep, I did that.
Do it again.
It was gone for a while. Do it again.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Good to go. Done.
You gotta teach me the helium dance.
That's right. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, your network connection should allow you to make that transfer. It's just that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be profitable. Because
the error that it comes up though says that your hotspot hasn't had any activity for the last 1,200 blocks.
Yep.
And it was online when I was trying to do that, and then I unplugged it, plugged it back in, and then I left it for 2 days, and it never came. Yep. It still says it's...
you gotta wait. You gotta wait a few weeks. It's the helium network, okay? You can't just unplug it and plug it back in. Come on now. This isn't a traditional computer here. I mean, come on now.
That is, I know, but that's too slow. Yeah, I want to unplug and plug this thing back in, and then I got to check in 14 days if this thing's working or not.
Well, I wouldn't say 14 days. At least 4 to 5.
At least 3 months. At least 3 months. To be honest here.
There's a guy, I can't think of the guy's name, but he's very well known in the crypto in the helium community, And he basically had said, he's like, look, he's like, when you get this thing hooked up and you get it set up, he's like, get it set up, make sure it looks like everything's working, make sure it's within the miner itself, it says that it's communicating, and then go on vacation for a week and don't think about it. That's the best advice I can give you. Because that's pretty much the way it is. There's no guarantees exactly when the thing's going to finally go, oh, yep, I'm here and I'm going to do something.
I'll be honest, I don't have patience for that.
It's a fun, okay, so it is a fun project. Like, I am approaching helium mining with zero expectation of profitability. So, excuse me. So that being said, it's a fun project to follow along with, like seeing how it's working, especially like there was huge news. We didn't even mention it, Max, on helium, which may make you reconsider with helium. There is big talks on them partnering with the cell carriers for 5G in order for it to partner. So like Verizon, AT&T are now partnering with the helium network to expand some of their density and their network. We don't know all the logistics yet, but that is something that's being talked about right now. So maybe it's not doing great this second, but it's a fun look at this guy. Here's the news about it. Look at him. He goes and gets everything. He's like, all right, I'm ready to go.
Hawk has left the nest.
Yeah.
You said cell phone carriers? Yo, get this right.
Yeah. So that is something that literally is within the last like 2 weeks, maybe, that came out in the news with helium that they are talking about. It's already like, it's not even rumor, like it's being talked about on the cell carriers now have identified. Okay, so we have a network out there that is anywhere and everywhere. I mean, this is the ideal situation for cell phone carriers. Is they have a bazillion antennas out there, towers now, or not bazillion. Let's see, what is the count? It is
network
830,000 antennas now out there that they potentially can utilize for some type of their network. Some small portion of their network may utilize it. So it's like that. This is huge. I mean, they don't have to go putting antennas up everywhere and everything like that. Like, there's a lot of opportunity here.
It'll be interesting. I know they're talking about, I mean, because again, we have miners that are on the low RAN network. So it's not 5G, it's nothing. So I don't know all the details technically as to, but they were talking, one of the articles I read a portion of it, basically that there's going to be like even separate coins for each network, not each cell network, but there's going to be 5G. And I forget what the other coverage, there was like two additional networks that they were going to be part of. But I'm kind of looking at it with interest. I don't think they have anything really figured out other than this is a possibility. So we'll see. I mean, it's definitely, I mean, the wild west. Helium totally is the wild west. It's not Ethereum. It's not like they're going to
size matters, Hawk. Size matters, Hawk.
Yeah.
You're also going to have to do that SD card upgrade too.
That's right. Hey, I got a video on that, Hawk. I got you covered. Don't worry about it.
I cracked myself up. I'm sorry, guys. Let me.
Guys over here playing with it. Quit playing with your. Quit playing with your antenna.
When you get it hooked up, though, you got to stand on one leg and do the helium dance, or else it's not going to make anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to do a test where I move my miner back to the original location I had it when I first started. I have a feeling I don't have as many hotspots that direction, but that means that each of those miners aren't going to have as many witnesses. And because actually that's the downhill side of from my house more than the more flat area. I'm curious if I'll actually make more, but have less activity going that direction, but actually make more. So I'm kind of curious on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun, as I keep saying, like, it's a fun project to be a part of. If you're getting into helium mining to try to make a profitability today, it's the wrong thing. Get out. But if you're like, hey, this is kind of cool, I want to follow along with it, like maybe there's potential down the road for some bigger adoption. Awesome. This, I would say, absolutely falls under that category of spec mining. Like, it is absolutely spec mining. It falls right into that category. This is Ravencoin Light all over again. You don't know what's going to happen, but it seems like it's got more legs. So who knows?
Brian, helium yawn.
Blue Dragon Mining just says, do you think the rabbit ear dance would work with helium miners? Okay, so he must be of a certain age if he knows what rabbit ears
Rabbit
are.
ears. Yep. 100%.
Brian Hollywood, helium yawn. Oh, I'm sorry, we're boring you to death. But actually, it reminds me. So that's one of the reasons why I'm in Flux. I mean, I believe in the project, but the reason, one of the reasons I'm running the Flux node is I thought it'd be fun and interesting and something different to do. And I actually have a little bit interesting story about that this week. So my internet connection went down this week. It's been a while since it's gone down. It went down for 40 minutes and I didn't lose my spot in line. Evidently the break point is somewhere around 45 minutes. So
you lucky bastard.
Oh yeah. And I was literally a day and a half away on one and 3.5 days away on the other one from a payout. So so yeah, I lucked out. So very, very happy that I didn't lose my spot in line. For those that don't know, when you lose connection or your node goes down, they don't like slash you like Ethereum would. They just basically say, yep, you're not providing any service to the network. You go to the end of the line. That's the penalty for not having uptime, the required uptime. So so anyway, so I was very happy. I obviously didn't go long enough between benchmarks for them to put me to the end of the line. So was very, very lucky.
Nice.
Yeah.
So let's see if there's any other questions. Otherwise, we have been going for not quite an hour and a half, but almost an hour and a half. Let's see.
Yeah, why don't we do like 4 questions? 4 total. We have 4 hosts here. Let's get 4 good questions from chat on any topics.
Before we do, I do have an announcement for everybody. Crypty.co will be carrying my merch. So guys, pretty soon that is going to be it's a big announcement for me. Maybe not, someone like the hobbyist miner, but for me.
Whoa. Yo, listen, I'm not some red panda over here. Okay, that's come on now.
It's a big thing. The owner hit me up. He said that we're going to talk. He's going to start branding all my stuff on, shirts and all that other stuff. So guys, please, I appreciate it. Be on the lookout for that. Just an announcement. It's a big step for me. So that's all I got.
Yep. And actually, I will be as well being hosted on Crypty as well. I've been working with. I told you that last night.
I'm excited.
So yeah, I am very, very excited. There'll be more information on it coming. I've been working with them, so I'm definitely excited about some of the products coming down the pike and some of the things I've been working on them with.
At home, are you adding any more cards or to your setup, or just adding ASICs at the moment? Both. If I can get a good deal on cards, I'll get them. Like I bought 8 RX 580s from Nerd Gears. I thought they were a decent price, and then I am going to add a couple more ASICs when I get the money because I have an immersion tank being installed.
Are those? Do you have any other AMD GPUs?
I have 8 6700 XTs that's holding up this board. A couple of them holding up this board on the trash can. I have nowhere to put them. I'm still waiting on the Octo miners, and then I have 8 6600 XTs that are currently mining zero.
I know you're newer to mining. Are you familiar that you definitely BIOS mod your 580s? So anyways,
sorry, that was just like the deer in the headlights look.
Hit me up. I'll send you a few videos. It's very simple and easy to do. It's a one click with a piece of software. It upgrades the BIOS, but it'll take those from 2627 to 3132 mega hash on Ethereum. You absolutely want to do it. It improves the timings on them. All of my 580s are on it. Any Polaris cards, so 580s, 570s, 470s. I have, I think, 3 or 4 videos, all different. Every time I get a 580, I do a video on it, and I show how to do that. But I have a step-by-step guide, so make sure you do that.
Red Panda, I did use your discount code, so
don't help him. Don't help him. He doesn't need it.
We all need
actually, and don't forget, if you have 5700 XTs, 5600 XTs, those also have BIOS mods. In fact, actually, 5700 XT. Speaking of Red Panda did a great video with Crypto Peasant, who has been a great help when it came to BIOS modding the AMD RDNA cards. So yeah, that was really, really helpful. And yeah, I got some more hash rate out of a little bit more hash rate out of my cards, but lowered the power tremendously with the new Team Red Miner update. So,
Okay.
but yeah, go check that out. I'm sure they go through the BIOS. He does go through the BIOS mod steps in order what to do there. So anyway, very helpful there.
Cool.
Somebody asked me, spec mining, what are you spec mining that you have not told anyone about? Long game ideas. Nice. And honestly, I'm not spec mining anything. Everything's on Ethereum right now. That is the honest to God truth. If I was to spec mine anything, you know, here's the thing. I probably wouldn't be spec mining anything. There's a lot of the coins that I'm interested in. I would be like the two coins right now I'm most interested in are Flux and Cardano, but they're not the most profitable. Well, you can't mine Cardano unless you do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are you doing with Cardano? Are you just purchasing or like getting paid out like an unminable type of thing with like Ethereum to that, or what are you doing?
No, I'm actually mining Ethereum and then selling and then buying. That's what I've done. But now I'm not adding to my Cardano right now. I'm debating on whether to add a little bit more. Same thing with Flux. I was kind of thinking about maybe I might expand to a third Flux node with the price where it is. Haven't decided if I'm not necessarily doing that yet, but those are the projects I'm most interested in. But I've said before, mine what's most profitable, sell it, and buy what you want.
Max,
So,
I wonder if
voltage
you,
slogan.
Max, yeah, right. Max, I wonder if I'm just curious if you were to do a test, if you use something like Unminable because their fees are so minimal, if you mined Ethereum, but within a Hive OS, you can do that and then get paid out in Cardano. I'm curious if your overall profit would be higher. I know Chump Change and I had looked at this with Raven Coin, and we found it was actually more profitable to use Unminable to like mine Ethereum and get paid out in Ravencoin. This is like right around the halving time period.
Yeah.
So look at that, because that might be a better avenue for you to go.
Well, it's definitely so, because Ethereum is more profitable. It will definitely be more profitable to mine Ethereum through Unminable and get paid out in our Cardano than it would be if you were able to mine Cardano. You know, Flux is probably a better example of Ravencoin. But the question is timing and things like that. I know that their fee is 1%. But it's kind of like I'm just not as, I'd rather have the control, I guess, is really what it comes down to. You know, consider it because paying, I know that buying and selling is like super cheap. I can do it for basically 0.5% in and out. So it's not very expensive. That's less than the 1%. So I can certainly do it for less than that 1%. So doing unminable, if you aren't going to take the time to do the sell and buy that you want to do, it's a great way to go. It's only 1%. It's going to be very, very comparable to doing it yourself. You lose only out on a little bit. Certainly nothing like, oh, I'm going to do nice hash to get paid out in Bitcoin. Nothing like that.
Yeah, so this is 1% and has a minimum payout of 8 Cardano. So I don't know traditionally what that looks like with the network difficulty and stuff like that, but yeah, it looks like that's where it comes out at.
Yeah, I mean, that's like super low payout. I mean, Cardano's like 50 cents right now, I think, less than 50 cents. So you're talking like $4. Nice. You're talking about getting paid out. Obviously, it depends on what your mining setup is. But
I mean, you can set your threshold. Yeah,
I mean, but if you're even just mining with one card, you're going to get paid out at least every couple of days. So, even just with the smallest mining setup. So, yeah, cool. Unminable is definitely a good option. It's not the one I'm using, but yeah, it's definitely not a bad option. So, what? Brian Hollywood, you control? No way. You see right through me, Brian Hollywood. Magic Lucky, do you stake your ADA? Yes, I do stake my ADA, but I actually do it through my exchange. My Bittrex actually allows me to like completely mindlessly stake whatever I have in my exchange. So that's where I have all my Cardano, and that's where it's staked. It's much easier than staking through any of the staking pools. And from what I've seen, it's comparable to what I'd be making on a staking pool. So that way I don't have to deal with the Yori wallet, which is a little quirky at times, shall we say. Ask Chump Change when you get a chance how much he loves the Yori wallet.
Oh yeah,
for his Ergo.
That thing's a piece of crap. Get rid of that. As I talked about in my Ergo video, get the Ergo app on your mobile phone. It's so much better.
Yeah,
100%. I actually had to look up. Red Panda Mining had mentioned Phantom. I'm like, what the hell is Phantom? And I never heard of it before. I had to look it up on Mineable to see exactly what it was, because I'm like, what is that?
I've never heard of it either, actually.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm looking at some of the details on it, and it looks like it has multiple chains. There's an FTM chain. FTM's the number, but then there's also like a BSC and an ETH chain. I am not familiar with that at all. Now I'm like, what is this?
Yep.
You might be trolling. Who knows?
So here's a question for everybody.
35
what are some projects that you hoped to moon that didn't?
Ravencoin.
What was that?
So
Ravencoin.
So-
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. That and Firo.
And I have a love hate with Raven. I lost 4,000 Raven, so I hate it right now.
Oh.
How'd you lose it?
The computer I had the core wallet on took a dump, and I even had the seed phrase and all that. It doesn't matter. You have to have that .bat file, or else you can't get it back. I've tried I've been in their Discord and everything. It does. The seed phrase is useless. You need the actual bat file that stores your wallet. If you don't back that up, you're gonna get screwed.
Public service announcement.
What's going on with their project? Like, are they working on it? I mean, do they give any updates?
Ravencoin?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it had potential too. Like, there's hype around it. Like, I don't know.
It seems like it's a very slow moving project. Everything I've read more recently on Ravencoin is like, they're like a year old on everything, is what I found based off of just like all the latest news on Ravencoin. It's like, is Ravencoin talking about NFTs? Is there nodes? Is there any big platforms getting on anything getting on their ecosystem? It's like, no. The answer is no. Like, it's just. It is an old project, and I honestly don't see. I don't know. I know Bitsby Trippin is huge on Ravencoin, but it's like, just looking at the way that like all these other projects are like in the forefront. I don't know. I don't know how Ravencoin survives. I mean, I don't even know what it's at right now. It's like abysmal on the price last I checked for Ravencoin.
Yeah, I guess I look at obviously everybody's heard of
2 cents.
Uber.
2 cents.
Yeah. Oh wow, I didn't realize it got down that low.
2 cents.
I'm sure everybody's heard of Uber and Lyft. How many people have heard of Sidecar? Exactly.
No.
Nobody's heard of them. Did you realize that they were the first rideshare platform, and they had they had the best features of any of them, that all of the others then later on finally got working? For instance, destination. I mean, I was an Uber driver. Destination filter that Uber has. Sidecar had that to start out. They had it from the very beginning. They had all the features. They believed in that the engineering would sell the product. It doesn't. It doesn't bring in seed money. Doesn't bring in investment. Yeah. It doesn't market. You got to market. They didn't do any of that. They just said, build it and they will come. Sorry, doesn't work that way. And and I believe Ravencoin's kind of that way, where they were doing a lot of great things, and they were building, and then they don't have the money, they don't have the backing. They believed that they would build it and people would come because it is a good project. It's just not the way it works. And unfortunately, I'm kind of the essence that I think the ship has kind of sailed on Ravencoin. It certainly won't be the mining savior for when Ethereum goes proof of stake, no question.
I was going to say, I think that's going to really be the last straw for Ravencoin, is when when Ethereum goes to proof of stake, and then everybody's under the microscope. All these different types of coins are under the microscope, and everybody's jumping around and looking, and it's like, wait, what is Ravencoin doing? Nothing. It's heat intensive, core intensive with all the heat and everything. It's like, nope, well, I'm not touching that. And Yeah, I think it's going to be. I mean, especially right now. I mean, if you removed Ethereum from your mining farms this second, are you touching Ravencoin? Absolutely not. Not
No.
when we are literally 2 cents or when it's worth 2 cents. It's like, holy cow! There's not a chance in hell this is profitable. You're not touching that at all.
I think Hero's got a good potential more than Ravencoin. I mean, I've done some research into the project, and I actually like the project. So, and I like the people behind it. So I'm bullish on Firo. Not financial advice, but I think it's going to be I think it's going to be definitely something that's going to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
don't think they're a Ravencoin, but they're one that I was hoping would moon, and it certainly hasn't mooned. So
yeah, I agree. I was
Ethereum
all in
Classic would be
Ravencoin
another
when
one.
I first started mining. A year and a half ago. Yeah, I know. Almost 2 years. I was all about Ravencoin.
I liked it because they named the coin after my favorite show. I mean, Game of Thrones, man. The Raven sent messages. I mean, if you think about it.
Oh, okay.
You know,
There is a new coin out there that just came out not that long ago, I think a couple of weeks, and it's on the Kapow algorithm. I couldn't get it to mine on Hive, but I'm gonna try on my desktop PC, and it's called. I'm probably not gonna pronounce this name, but it's a hybrid model, so it's proof of work with also it's either proof of play or proof of game. So gamers will also benefit from this. So as the years go on, right, the miners will get less and the gamers will get more. But in the beginning, the miners will get more. It's called, I think, Nexia. It's Neoxa. If you go on to the mining pool, miningpools.stream, and you go to the new coin section, you'll see it in there.
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear that like a new project comes into play and then elects the Kapow algorithm. It's like, wait, what? Like, what?
I think because they're aiming for gamers, so they're aiming for GPUs, which, as far as I know, I don't see it being as very ASIC resistant.
Sure, exactly. Well, that's something you look at is like how resistant is it to ASICs, which was actually something that came up when I was talking with Daniel Keller regarding ASIC resistant, and he even said like when Ethereum goes to proof of stake, if they see a pivot of all of a sudden the development of FPGAs and ASICs, they will swap algorithms. They said they literally are adamant on proof of work for GPU miners, which is awesome to hear. Like. It would be a home run. It'd be a home run if they're just holding that in their pocket, and then all of a sudden August hits or whenever it ends up happening, and they're like, "Hey guys, we're going to this nice efficient algorithm." It's like, damn, good for you.
Yeah, I mean, can you really get ahead of it though? I mean, these people work day and night on creating these machines, right? So the minute out. A week later, 2 weeks later, I'm sure they're already into the testing phase to see if the ASIC will work on the network. Like, and then, there's going to be ones created, and they're going to slowly creep in, like they did, with Ethereum, right? They're going to slowly creep in, and then all of a sudden, it's just going to be this massive amount of hash rate, and then can they detect it right away? Is my question. I don't even know if that's even possible.
I know on the Ethereum network, some of the devs actually have been able to figure out. Now, this is where this will be debatable, but way back when 1559 was discussed, this was like the beginning of 2021. They basically did some research and they basically said, guess what? ASIC miners are not that huge. They're like certainly less than 20% of the network, and they were saying 5 to 10% of the network was ASICs, and they didn't have any skin in the game to say, that this was actually Ogata Girl and one of the other devs were doing this analysis, and so it wasn't that much, and that's one of the reasons why they decided the whole switch to a different algorithm to try to get rid of ASICs was not even worth it because it wasn't really going to do anything. So as far as overall hash rate, so. Anyway, I'm very curious. It's one of the things I'm very curious about when we do go proof of stake, to find out how much hash rate actually moves to other coins once it happens.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very, it's going to be a very interesting time. it's I don't know, man. I'm excited about it. I really am. I'm actually more excited than I am scared. I know a lot of people are not. I know there's a lot of people worried about, am I gonna have to shut down and all this other stuff? And and I think that's where we come as a community and we say, all right, guys, like who's got high power, who's got low, who can help host who, like keep everybody in the game. You know what I mean? Try to help everybody out as much as you can if you want to do that. You know what I mean? Like I that's just the way I think. You know what I mean? So
now is not a time to be a full-time crypto miner. I'm just gonna put it out there.
No.
So like all these people, it's like, nope, you need to be doing a full-time job, and part-time job and hobby is crypto mining. Because especially with proof of stake approaching, it's like without being able to, it was much easier a year ago when you were looking at your profitability and it was pretty sustainable and it was like, all right, cool. This is what I know what's going on. But with the way the market is right now, and with the fact that no one can predict what things are going to look like when proof of stake happens, especially from profitability, things could moon across the board or things could go to almost zero. And then it's like, it's not worth it at all. So yes, do not look at anybody and go, oh, they're making money, I should do this full time and quit my job and do crypto mining, because now is not the time.
Agreed. I've been thinking that all along because I've been trying to build and all that kind of stuff, but never really thought full time was a reality, just for the pure fact that the profitability is going to go away. If you look at historically, that's what mining has done. It's really profitable, then it's not, then it's really profitable, then it's not. I mean, go look at some of Red Panda's old videos, where he looks at the profitability and it's like, wow, we're making 30 cents. It was like, hey, we're making money, guys, not unprofitable anymore. We're making money. This is great. So that was the reality back then when I started. I got started as a hobby thinking this would be kind of fun to learn some things. And I had no idea it was going to go to where it went. I started, expanding in September of 2020, which was great timing. Obviously, that was right at the start of the boom. So,
I think we're going to be good. I think Ethereum Classic is going to have a good run. I think they're going to get it together. I'm confident. I think Flux is going to be good. Not financial advice, guys, but obviously, like this is just what I think based on a lot of the research and people you're talking to and I'm talking to, excuse me, about it. And that's just my opinion on it. I think we're going to be fine. I think mining, like Hobby has said in one of his videos I watched recently, he said, mining's not going anywhere, guys. It's here to stay. We're going to do this. We're all going to get through it. And that's it. Just tough it out, basically.
And on that positive note, we've been streaming for now an hour and 45 minutes. Well, an hour and 40 minutes with you guys talking. I was talking the previous 5 minutes to that, but we're going to call it a day, and we're going to go in and play some StarCraft and have a good time over on the gaming side of things. So if you guys want to come join us or come watch us play. And again, thank you all very, very much for coming. I appreciate it. Oh, wow. 74 viewers right now. Appreciate everybody coming. And we will catch you on Mondays with Max. Obviously, all of these other fine folks here have their own channels. Go check them out. Hawk, as well as Hobbyist Miner and Mining King. And again, I'll be live on Monday night. All right, guys, have a good one. And you guys all have a good night.
Later.
Take care, guys.